Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara. In this channel, we talk about marketing, personal finance, and lifestyle. If you like that sort of content, please like and subscribe for more. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 steps to do a full financial reset. What are the steps that you need to take to put your finances in order, achieve your financial goals, like, for example, saving your first $100,000, which is something that these steps definitely help me with. And just to give you a little bit of background, because I think context in my case is very important. So I was not born in the US. I'm a Venezuelan immigrant and I've been living here for over 5 years approximately. And the first year that I was here in the US, I couldn't work. I didn't have work permission, so I was not making any money. And before that, well, I lived in Spain for a couple of years and I live in Venezuela the majority of my life. But it was very hard for me because people from Venezuela or people that don't know about the system, the economical system in Venezuela, it's very hard to set up economic goals. Everybody lives basically day by day or month by month. Savings is very difficult. The money is basically worth nothing. So it's a very complicated financial system. When I moved to Spain, I was living my life as a international student. My family helped me a lot, and I also had an internship that was paying like 500 euros a month. So with that, I was helping to cover some expenses, food, things like that. But I was basically not I didn't have like my finances in order at all. Then when I came to the US, finding stability, changing my life, getting married, I had to learn from zero a whole system that was very different from the one that I grew up with, learning about taxes and Roth IRAs and retirement and things like that. And after that whole year that I couldn't work, and I'll be 100% transparent with you, my family helped me, my husband helped me to, had that sustained or like solid ground. And my first salary here in the US, it was around $35,000. So that was my start point. Right now, I thank God I'm in a very different place. I just want to say that these steps were something that first, I had somebody like my husband that is an accountant and helped me to understand a lot how to have financial organization, stability. So I just wanted to provide some context because I had certain advantages that maybe a lot of people don't have. So the first step that I wanted to share with you that definitely changed my life completely financially was to keep track of your expenses and your income. Sometimes we just go through life and we don't really know how much we're spending or how much we're earning really. And it's crazy to me, like the only tool that could help you to build where you want to be and to reach that comfort level that you want to have in your life is knowing how much you're earning and how much is coming out of your budget or your income. The best way to do something like that is to have your financial tracker. I see a lot of financial trackers that YouTubers offer. I have one that I'll attach down below, and I'll be 100% honest with you, I don't overcomplicate it too much. My financial tracker is very simple, but I also have like a visual area. So I have like my table and I also have a visual that could help me to see how much I spend per month on certain categories to evaluate if I did a good job that month. So if you're interested in something like that, I'll leave it down below and you can check it out and let me know what you think. But definitely I will say that that's the main point, like that's the starting point. If you don't know how much your money you're making and how much money is coming out, it's going to be very difficult for you to set up like a very basic ground of your starting point. The second step that I will say is setting up your percentages per month. You can follow the rule of like 50, 15, 5, or you can follow other percentages that were best for your case. So this rule is basically 50% goes to main expenses, like essential expenses, like your rent, food, electricity, internet. 15% goes to all your savings, for your retirement, Roth IRA, things like that. And then 5% will go to like an emergency fund. To be honest, in the economy that we are right now and with everything that's been going on in the world, it's just best to set up something aside that you can look into if anything happens. 3 months, or I would say more like 6 months of expenses cover. I prefer that than 3 months because 3 months go by so fast and it's better just to have some peace of mind. I will prefer to have a little bit more and peace of mind than just a little bit to say that I have emergency fund, but it doesn't help me really. I think 6 months will be a good amount, will make you feel more comfortable. And the 30% left, because we said 50, 15, and 5, Could be more for entertainment, the lifestyle that you want to live. But I think that it will depend. For example, I currently invest and save around maybe 30% of my budget, but it's because coming from Venezuela, I also have to think about my family in Venezuela and their future, because around my 50% is included my expenses, but also the expenses that I have for my family in Venezuela. I accept and I do it with all the love and responsibility in the world, but it gives you like a different perspective. Okay, this is something that is gonna be in my life consistently, so I better try to prepare as best as possible for it. You will say maybe like investing, that's why I'm trying to like, my 15% is higher. It's like maybe 25, or I want to reach it to 30-35% investment and savings, because well, the goals that we have in my life, like maybe getting a house, a family, etc., but also thinking about the future, like my family and their well-being, and have them covered in that sense. Think about your life. Your life might be very different than mine. You have different needs, different opportunities. So think about those 30% of things that you cannot negotiate, that are very basic. I know that some salaries are tighter and we have individual situations. So even if it's a little of like 10% that you can save or invest, try to do it as early as possible. If you hear me and you're in your 20s, you're in the best time to start investing. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars. You can start investing with just like $5, $50. The idea is that you just start. You have to start investing and start making that money working for you. You're gonna be so grateful in the future. You're gonna be like, I didn't do this sooner. I promise you, it's gonna be so worth it. It's really key, and it's gonna set you up for life and your family and your loved ones. After you set up all your percentages, let's say what you know that you need to cover and how much you can save, tell you something very important is to track and set limits. I'll tell you a little bit of my situation. I work remotely, and I've been working remotely the majority of my life in the US. So what happens to me, and I'm very curious if it happens to you too, is that working remotely could turn a little expensive, in the sense that I feel sometimes very isolated at home. So I will work at home and then maybe go into a coffee shop, have a different environment, etc. But I mean, you can get a coffee for like $5. Then if you are going through a week that you feel like I'm so isolated, you go every week to the coffee shop, every day to the coffee shop, you don't notice, and you already spend like $30 in coffee, so that's not bad. It's important to also use the money in ways that it will benefit you, and if it makes you feel good. I'm not saying that you have to stay at home. I'm just saying, like, try to put some limits on your expenses, in particular in these cases, or like, for fun, etc., because we maybe carry away with like, oh, this is the amount of money that I can spend for fun. Try to set limits, and the way that we can set limits is by paying us first. A lot of people just have their income. What they do is that the money that is left over is the one that they say, okay, this is 20% per saving. If you do that, you won't be able to set up limits for yourself, and then you're gonna look back and be like, okay, the 5% that I have for entertainment turned into 30%. Pay yourself first always is better, it's easier. It's gonna be like, okay, I got this done, so now the money that I have now, I am able to spend it with some peace of mind, because everything is calculated and it's done, and I already took care of my future self. So let's recap. So we already have our financial tracker, we identify our income, our expenses, we then set up our percentages, set up our limits for entertainment and any other things that we want to do. Now the fourth advice that I have to give you is that automate everything as much as possible. We live in a time where our credit card is absolutely everywhere, like for our subscriptions, for everything. So if we're able to automate for subscription of services like Netflix or, I don't know, CapCut, Photoshop, all those things that we like, but we are not able to automate our savings, I think that we are not in the right track. If you are able to have these subscriptions and be confident with them, you have to treat your automatic savings and automatic investments as a subscription. literally this is a subscription of your future self. This is a subscription for a better life that you're building in the future. So you have to be at peace with that amount. So automate, automate, automate. Nothing else to say. Next advice I will give you is to think ways of making more money as soon as possible. I believe that closer that you can think about other sources of income that are not just one, I think that you will be more satisfied and less anxious about depending on just one source of income. Like, for example, the people that are wealthy or rich people have at least 5 sources of income. So I'm not saying that you have to build 5 sources right away. A lot of these cases, they took years and decades to build something like that. But if you can think about something that you can do that you're good at and you like, that could give you more income and another way of making more money, I think that that is a very important financial step that can help you in the future. For example, in my case, I offer photography and videography services. I do enjoy photography and videography, and I have made good money with it. Literally, that's something that I enjoy since I'm little, and I created my website and start promoting my social account and having my Google profile, and I have had the opportunity to have clients and generate money with something I like. I have my full-time job. I have a full-time job in digital marketing, but I also have this side hustle that makes me feel good, makes me feel like I can grow it if I want to, and I can build more if I want to. And it makes me feel a little bit more relaxed that I'm not fully dependent on just one income. I'm still working on building more income sources, but I think finding ways to make more money outside of your job, your regular job, will make you powerful. Number one, will make you feel more confident, kind of like, I can create money, I can build money. It will also create this mindset of the idea of having money and creating money. And I think it's healthy for anybody to have different sources of income. So if you can work on that as soon as possible, that will be wonderful. It doesn't have to be something complicated. It could be something that you're really good at. And if you're wondering, I don't know, Barbara, I don't know what I can do to make more money, ask your friends. What do you think I'm good at that maybe I can make money with? Well, thank you so much for being here in this episode, and I'm very excited to continue making content. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I hope to see you soon. Let me know what you think about these 5 steps,